What's up everybody, it's Davo here, and you read that title right. I just figured out how to erase dropships completely from the game, bypassing their escape sequence, and I'm about to show you exactly what you need to do it yourself. This concept started off with me trying to figure out a way for new characters to be able to take out dropships with ease. As I tested out so many weapons, I discovered that the crafted arrows actually packed a punch so devastating that it completely wipes the dropship from your game. I'm not kidding, if you can get the range, you can change the game. And take note that all my character skills are always at its lowest, so I don't have to worry about one character having abilities that other characters don't. Now real quick, if you are new to this game, you can search rocks and you can craft knives. You can use this knife to cut down trees, and you're going to get a lot of sticks, and these sticks can make different things like the arrows, ropes, and also the bow itself. So try it out. And really that's all you need to take out a dropship. Just equip your bow and you're ready to go. There's no extra gimmicks and there's no skill needed. All you need to do is make sure you're landing your shots. From this far of a distance, it's kind of hard to tell if your arrows are actually hitting or if they're just bouncing off. Some areas on a dropship have collision that actually take damage, while most of the areas on a dropship just bounce things off of them. Now if you already have a stockpile of inventory, then this is going to work with your carbon arrows and your metal arrows. Just like the wood arrows, make sure you're landing your shots. You know you've impacted the spaceship when you see sparks fly, even on your wooden arrows. Now with these arrows, if you know, you know. And I would have loved to have titled this video based off of that, but we gotta keep it clean, right? But like I said, these arrows, just like the other arrows, all do the same thing, and they will erase your dropship. For this next test, I actually hooked up with Dallas, and I wanted to check if the flare cartridges actually did damage because I find those things all over the place. Shockingly it did, and we put a lot of time into fighting this dropship. I was about ready to give up my testing, but I noticed one of my flares actually drew in the attention of the dropship. So we kept on going, and we actually went for a good 30 minutes or so. But let me tell you, this thing gave us the hardest time. I thought having two players would make for an easy distraction, but the dropship always had somewhere to go and it never gave up. I swear every time I hit this thing I felt like Skynet was going to take over. Despite our best efforts though, we could not take out this dropship, even though we lit this thing up like a Christmas tree. Now I did go back to crafting weapons, but I was a little bit confused on the collision here. I wasn't sure if it was the dropship to blame or the spear itself, but I initially took it that the spears were just going right through the dropship. Or maybe I was missing it all together. I remember there being antennas, so I teleported on top of them, which turned out horrible, and I'm going to use these failed attempts to transition through each one of the weapons. Hopefully you'll get a laugh out of it. After finally landing on top of the tower, I quickly grabbed a selfie, and you never know, this might be the thumbnail. And I think this is the closest I'm going to get to a dropship without falling through it. I went back to throwing spears, and it still looked like each one of them were flying through the body with no collision. That's when I decided to focus more of my attention on one of the turrets with the spears, and I could see the spears actually bouncing off this time, but in the long run it had no effect and this was a complete waste of time. At this time I wondered what would happen if we used the raw materials to attack the dropship, so I busted out one of my trusty sticks and began going to work on this thing. While I could see the sticks bouncing off the dropship, this had no effect either, thumbs down. But I do think it's kind of funny that I can say I actually threw a stick at a dropship and got away with it. Every time I teleported to the top of this tower, I had to make sure I tried to go through the dropship. And the reason I keep teleporting up there is because I have to spawn my weapons on the floor. There's no room for them to land up at the top, and I have to redo this every time I want to test something differently. So I went with the improvised crossbow, and for a person with no skills, this is the worst idea ever. I don't even recommend this because I know it's going to get somebody killed. If I wasn't using God mode right now, it probably would have killed me. I've never actually used this weapon up until this point, and I really hope that it's not this bad once you get leveled up. Because this was just awful. At this point the game kept telling me I was dehydrated, so I figured I'd use this time to actually drink a bottle of water. And while I'm really not one that likes to litter, Didn't hesitate at taking this opportunity to throw my water bottle at the dropship. Good times. But I did bust out the shurikens, and I might have just spent about 5 minutes in ninja mode trying to take this thing out. But again, major disappointment. Nothing happens. At this point, I couldn't really think of any more crafted weapons to try. But while I had this range, I went back and tried some of the other failed experiments I did in the past. Mainly this one being the EMP grenades. Now, I couldn't tell you if this thing is doing anything to the movement of the dropship, but what I can tell you is it's not doing anything to stop the weapons. Which I'm gonna say is a no-go on the EMP grenades, which is kind of a bummer because I was getting some really good shots with it. Anyways, moving on. Out of sheer curiosity, I was trying to think of different console commands that I could use to maybe affect the dropship. First, by spawning a plane. I have no idea why I thought this would work. It was kind of comical seeing it fall down the tower in Plinko style. Now I know the dropships have a weakness to explosions, so I thought it'd be a wonderful idea if I just started spawning endless amounts of divested explosion zombies or puppets, whatever you call them. Even going as far as trying to freeze up my computer in the process, which it handled it pretty well, except for that guy that popped at the end. You never know what to expect with these beefy dudes. Running low on ideas, I finally decided to test the improvised grenade launcher since that's something we can craft. And I don't know if it's just me, with the sentries, I have never been able to take out a sentry with grenades. No way, shape, or form, whether that be grenade launchers, hand grenades, mines, claymores, none of this. I've spawned hundreds on top of sentries and none of that has seemed to take an effect. So I just wanted to see if this weapon was going to do anything to the dropship, and sure enough, it actually did what it's supposed to do. And just like the rocket launcher, if you focus your attacks on the body, it should only take you 2 hits to take out the dropship. Maybe 3 hits if you focus on one of the side pieces like the turrets or maybe the tail. I was really happy to see this, even though I think they're going to completely patch this thing by the end of the week. For those of you that are going to leave me comments saying that SCUM sucks, tell me why. I want to know, and I've been responding to all of the comments. I'm not going to hate on your decisions. I'm not going to hate on your reasoning. I just want to know why. And if you like the game, leave a comment too. Hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe. If not, get out of here. And we'll see you in the next video.